Man, I'm ready.
So this is going to be kind of an interesting podcast. So me and Jared are going to work as a team to interview. I don't even know how it's going to work, but we're going to interview Crayson, and then Jared's going to interview both of us at the same time. So it'll be a cool conversation.
Yeah, I'm excited. So let's just recap a little bit the events of the last month and a half.
Okay.
We can dive in and recap, I guess, all of last year, but the events of the last month and a half have really kind of set a new tone. So last year you guys both had a phenomenal year in the field. Mm-hmm. Both of you, discovered the HuntLeague app a little bit later in the season. Like Garrett, I don't remember when. It had to have been July because it was like 2 weeks later we started the league, which was August 1st. So you kind of found it in July. Crayson would have heard a podcast.
It's like July 27th is when I downloaded the app and got on there.
Dang, look at that memory. Look at that recall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Well, so let's introduce Crayson. Give us a breakdown of elevator sales pitch, who you are.
I'm Crayson Mcbride. I grew up in northeastern Oregon, and I became the Outdoorsman of the Year last year, 2021. And you're hearing from me.
Don't rub it in or anything.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
Just stab him in the heart with a knife.
just scare it to you. No, I started doing YouTube. A lot of coyote hunting because that's what we do year round around here, and just have a huge passion for the outdoors. I grew up archery hunting my whole life, and that transitioned to calling for waterfowl and doing the whole waterfowl thing. And then I got addicted to trying to hunt coyotes all the time. And man, that just turned my whole hunting game up to like level 10. I mean, I learned how to hunt turkeys better and stalk deer better, because there's just so many times where you're out there chasing something else and there's a coyote, and it's like, oh man, let's go hunt this. Like, it just changed up the whole, situation and give you hope. So, no, I just have a huge passion for the outdoors, and ended up, taking 4 months to, win a Outdoorsman of the Year on HuntLeague. So here I am. But
I mean, win could be debatable, right? I mean, there's you won by the judges' vote, but did you win by the death count or the success?
Yeah. No kidding.
No, I don't mean to diminish that at all. This is really fun for me to actually be sitting here with both of you guys, because, you both had an incredible season last year. You became each of you became one of 12 finalists that were kind of nominated as candidates to apply to be the Outdoorsman of the Year after the resumes you turned in. Both of you became one of 4 finalists. We went through a judges competition. Crayson, you ultimately walked away with the crown, and I would just say, well deserved. I mean, it was incredible. Yeah. I don't ever mean to take anything away from you, but I remember sitting at the. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt. We can look back at this now, and we did the live event on February 1st. When the judges came back on, I was pretty cool and calm through the night. Like, this is cool, like getting to watch it all. When the judges came back on and they're about to make a decision, like everything in me, my heart was jumping out of my chest. I'm like, I don't know what they're about to say. I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a finalist. I can't even imagine what it was like for you guys sitting there. So Crayson, give me like a little bit of like, what was that moment when the judges come on and they're about to make the announcement? What was happening inside your head, heart, mind?
I was just shaking. I couldn't believe it. But my family was just like, did you see Jared on how much he was like freaking out? Like, it was so great because we did a little recap with my whole family. We did a Zoom call ourselves afterwards. But no, I mean, when it got down to like that, the third runner up, I was just like, I'm going to hear my name. And it's just like, I'm going to be so happy for Garrett. Like constantly like, don't get mad. Don't get upset. You did well. And I just was like planning to hear my name, and then I didn't. And I was just like, oh, no way. And I didn't know how to handle it. I mean, honestly, they should have revealed the champion at that point. But no, I thought they did it. I love the judges. They did a great job. And it was so fun to interact with them. That was probably my favorite part about the whole live event, is that it wasn't like Jared asking us questions. It was like hearing from the judges and like looking at their faces, them asking that question. and it was just a whole nother level. Cause I honestly thought it was just gonna be Jared, asking the questions, and they were like, had a notepad or whatever, in the back, just like being quiet and listening in. But no, that was just to have that interaction with those judges was super, super cool. And just to see all the mounts in the back and, see these guys that are exhausted from the SHOT Shows and living in the hunting industry. It was like, oh man, these guys are taking the time out to talk to me about this. It was just fun.
Yeah.
All right, Garrett, give it. What on earth was happening inside of you at that moment?
I was right there with Crayson, man. I was like, my heart was beating. I'm like, I told the guys the whole time, because each one of the finalists are like congratulated me, like, hey, what scope are you gonna get? And I'm like, guys, this is anybody's game, and I 100% wholeheartedly believe that. And I was like trying to breathe life into the other contestants and stuff. I'm like, listen, you're in the top 4 for a reason. Obviously, somebody liked what you were doing or what you did, right? And just the whole time, I'm like, this is anybody's game, and I was just, my heart was beating probably just as hard as Crayson's was. Like I mean, it was literally like an adrenaline rush, and so the best way I can describe it is I'm the Cincinnati Bengals. I went to the Super Bowl, but I won my division. So I don't know if I won the other. There's other hunt leagues I'm a part of, and I'm still waiting to find out if I won one of those. But there's the Western Hunter. It kind of feels like I'm probably going to win that one just based off of being in the top 4. And Grayson and I is like, well, if you or I don't win, we're going to be Western Hunter, right? And so I'm waiting for that to finalize and see what the judges think there. But yeah, I mean, my heart was beating way more than I thought it was gonna. Like I was just trying to be, like a duck on the water, like look cool, but like my feet were paddling pretty hard.
Well, here's a fun update on Western Hunter. So we've got 3 different judges. 2 of them are world elk calling champions. So when it comes to Western elk hunting, like we've got some champions in there. The third one is from the Hunt Score app, which is, it's a fascinating. I don't know if you guys have ever been on the platform, but the platform's amazing. Like it rates each unit in Western states with like everything from trophy potential to how hard it is to draw, gives you like different, like how much public access you have. Like there's other tools, with Top Rut and Go Hunt that are good, like Hunting Fool, great applications for like helping people figure it out. I have been really impressed with what I've seen with Hunt Score, and the guy, Matt from Hunt Score that owns and runs that is the third one. And so at this point, we were actually supposed to decide the Western Hunter officially on yesterday. But he got backed up with, he had some family stuff in town, had some issues that kind of arose with Hunt Score that he had to resolve. So he's like, man, we got to reschedule. And I'm like, okay, so we're still on hold, but I will tell you that I have consensus from 2 judges. We've got our 3 finalists. We're not doing a live event with it. So that announcement with the Western Hunter is going to be made any day now. We're just kind of waiting on it. But we've got the 3 finalists that are in contention right now is you, Garrett Weaver, a guy named Michael King from Colorado, and Keith Naylor, Spike Bull Outdoors. Some people know him or have seen him.
Yeah. Yep.
He put together a cool season, went to Alaska, killed a caribou with a bow, had a turkey in the spring, had a elk with a bow. And this was his return year to bow hunting. So those are kind of the 3 people. They don't even know that they're finalists. We're not doing the whole candidate interview, all the other stuff. So it's all being done behind the scenes based on the criteria that's laid out. So we should have a decision on that within the week. But there's some actually really cool stuff circulating with the Western Hunt League. And I think like this year's kind of the pilot for it. It's the first year we've ever done it. And, I think the odds are certainly in your favor as a finalist coming out of the Outdoorsman of the Year.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
If you want to throw like a free car into the prize package, feel free. I won't stop you.
I'm working on that. I'm trying to get one of those new Tesla trucks.
Yeah, let me know. I will take that bullet.
Somebody has to know, like, are these actually hunt-worthy vehicles? Like,
right. I will test that and post it on YouTube. I trust me. I'll get you 10 views. But no, I mean it's the fact that, I had a good season and Crayson had a good season. He had a lot more small game critters and birds and stuff, and I had more big game. But my thing when I think you and I podcasted the very first time, Jared, is like I don't want to be a part of a big buck or big bull contest. I don't want to have this chest beaten. I killed 16 million animals this year. Like I don't want to be a part of something like that. And the fact that just if you look at the finalists, the 4 finalists in the Outdoorsman of the Year, it shows you that that's exactly what it's exactly what I was hoping it would be. It's not a big buck or big bull competition. It's not just because you did this or that you're going to win. It's there's a lot of heart in it, and there's a lot of emotion and feeling that goes into the decision, and you can tell the judges definitely took it to heart, and they really did think about it, and they chose the winner based off of what they found resonated within them. It wasn't like, a 400-inch bull is going to win this year. No, and I think Crayson winning is probably the best thing that could have happened, especially for the app. But I mean, I don't disagree with the judges. I mean, I think it was a really cool decision, and so I think that really, for me, validated me getting involved with the app. That really proved to me that I made a good decision.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate hearing that. I mean, everything is like a little bit like beta testing. It's like there's never been a competition like this before. Like, right. You're building a leaderboard based on somebody's story in the hunting journals that they acquire in the field, and it's not. It doesn't have to do with like, well, who killed the most or who killed the biggest. It's really like the season as a whole, like how did it all come together and what are the different factors? And,
right.
And when you're looking at the Outdoorsman of the Year, it's, is it just about you as a hunter? Like, is this about you and your trophies and your own accomplishments? And, is this beating your chest, like what you were saying, or is this about passing on a legacy to others? Is it about mentoring and coaching and also and sharing your story? And there's so many other elements. And one of the things, like, honestly, like, you saw it in my face as we did the live event. Like I was freaking out in the last minute when the judge because I had no idea which way it was going to go. And what was so hard for me last year, I didn't really have much of a relationship with any of the finalists, but this year watching you guys season come together, because like I got a front row seat to your guys' seasons. Like you guys shared posts on the community page. I would comment and celebrate those different victories, not knowing at the time, when it was August 1st and you kill a bear on opening day, not knowing that months later you would be a finalist, Garrett, or Crayson, when you end up taking your bull and then you post a video and you've got all these different things. And I get to watch like the ups and downs of that experience. That was like, I got close to every one of the finalists, and I wouldn't say just the finalists, like there was 12 candidates. Like I got to know a lot of those candidates. And as I sent out those applications, cause they were people that finished in the top 25 or so in the leaderboard, at least 25%. Mm-hmm. They were, like some of the questions that I got back, and Garrett, this came from you, as well. It was like, should I fill this out? Is it okay for me to fill this out? Because I don't want anybody to think that this is like an inside job.
That was a very big concern for me.
Yeah. And I love that people look at the optics of that and say like, is this rigged? Is this, what it was this going to be like? Right. And it's like, look, I'm not a judge and I don't get to make this decision. And so people will get to see and experience this and they can think how they want. But, like we're going to see how this plays out, and getting to watch it all play out and seeing how much intentionality the judges put into actually listening to your stories. They listened to the podcast. They knew things about you that I didn't tell them because they read your hunt logs. They listened to your stories. I mean, it was like the amount of actual attention that they paid to each of you guys. Yeah, was actually humbling for me to like get to see and watch. And it was like, man, they're taking this serious, and they're actually looking for qualities, and they're looking for something to celebrate and say, this is somebody that we want to put this stamp of approval on, say this is going to be an Outdoorsman of the Year. I had a conversation today separate of this that I was telling somebody. I was actually meeting with an attorney and talking with them about the HuntLeague app and the competitions and whatnot. And I was like, look, if if somebody looks at this from the outside and wants to look at the optics, and they see the animals that Garrett stacked up with a bear and 2 deer, an elk, a pronghorn, multiple states, all those things. I said, if they're looking for that, they can see clearly like this, there's more to this competition than just killing big game animals. They can see that there's more heart in this, that there's judges in this, that are actually listening to the stories. And there's more to this story. It's not just a killing contest, like what you said before. And ultimately, like, that's what we want. Like the Outdoorsman of the Year, Crayson, like Garrett and I have talked about this outside of you. Like, I'm so excited for you to wear that crown, because I think you're going to wear it well. And I think like you having that title, people like, we're telling people, hey, look at this guy, follow this guy, watch his story, watch the way that he hunts, watch the way that he, pursues his outdoor adventures, because you're worthy of following. And I'm not saying that that's not true of the other finalists, but it's like, man, like, I'm so proud of you. And I think like it's a validation stamp on you as a young man, and still like young in your hunting career. Yeah. That like, this is a crown that nobody gets to take away from you. You earned this. And, I think both Garrett and I look back and it's like, yeah, we're excited for you. Well deserved.
100%.
No, for sure. Like I've already had people reaching out to me, like, wanting tips and help on things. And I've even had some companies wanting to send me some gear already. And I'm just like,
that's cool.
It's crazy. I mean, I only have 180 subscribers on my YouTube channel, but they're like seeing how I'm progressing and seeing that, what I'm bringing to the table is something. And it has a lot to do with the outdoorsman title. Like I tell them that, and they just like, dude, well, let's send you some gear. Let's get you working on stuff. And it was just like so overwhelming. Like, this is what I've been wanting to do since I was 16, forever. So, and, I had to go back to say, the judges, I mean, honestly, I just thought that they were gonna be like, okay, who's this kid? Okay. What did he kill? Well, okay. No, whatever. But they like, for them to hear the podcast, like they went back to the podcast of my cougar story and just knowing, my experiences from stuff. And it's just like, they were taking this so seriously, and I didn't expect that. And, it shocked me, like, that they kind of kept up with my whole year. It wasn't just like, oh, you killed a big bull with your bow. Cool. Mm-hmm. Oh, you killed some coyotes. Oh, you got a couple. It was like, they knew what happened and what I felt throughout the season. That was probably the coolest part of just hearing that the judges cared enough to spend the time to listen to every aspect of my season, Josiah's season, Wyatt's season, Garrett's season. And, the whole HuntLeague community is so positive, so strong. Like I have way more friends now, like that just, we talk about positive hunting and stuff like that, and learning from each other's experiences. It's been such a powerful tool, besides just, if you go to Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. It just seems like it's more of a competition there. Like, oh, I don't even want to like this, because it's like I'm helping this guy out and I don't like, it's my competition. But honestly, the HuntLeague is a completely different, we're all just like encouraging each other, and there's a whole nother side to it. I don't see any nasty comments of like, wow, that's the only thing you killed, or, just anything negative on there. It's a cool, like almost family in a way, just, I've gotten to know Garrett so well, and, behind the scenes, and Josiah, me and him almost message every day. And it's just a cool, app. And it's just cool to see the community come together in a different platform like that. So,
yeah. And I think that was, a lot of the guys that I was talking to that got involved, they wanted that community thing. They didn't want to turn it into another Instagram, the app. Yeah. And I think that really shows through, because I had to turn my phone things off one day because my phone was blowing up from the other 3 contestants. It's like, just the guys were just so excited about the contest and just, wishing each other good luck. And yeah, it just is much more of a community than I thought it would be, or and I literally was like, yeah, dude, the whole time I just knew it was anybody's competition, and I would have no problem. I think I sent each one of you guys stickers. I think yours actually returned enveloped on me, but Oh, somebody returned enveloped on me. It's just cool. It's just cool, man. It's just I've been on a lot of the platforms and I haven't seen that yet. And there's a lot of heart in the app right now, and I think that's a good spot to be personally.
Yeah. This is this isn't like a done deal or anything like that, but I had an amazing 2-hour conversation with a group of military veterans today.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they're doing is, there's so many studies that are, just sobering to look at, veterans returning from active duty, dealing with PTSD.
Yep.
The suicide rate is really high. The reintegration is really difficult. And they've actually been doing some studies with, down to sleep studies and physiological stuff with wearing those rings, that show your heartbeat, stress level, recovery rates, all of that. And one of the things that they have found was on an archery, it was specific to archery hunting, after 2 or 3 days into it, their stress levels and sleep, their breathing, their heart rate, everything in that, it went to a completely new base level after a few days. And it was there was nothing else that they could compare it to. It created a calm inside these guys. And they are looking at creating, and this would be completely private, meaning we wouldn't be able to participate or that kind of thing, but they're looking at creating a league, that's just with these soldiers that are returning. That's their own community where they can teach people how to bow hunt, share their stories, and build. And it's that the app offers something like that to different kind of groups. And I'm when they were talking to me about their vision and what they're doing, and then they were able to marry their vision of what they're doing as an organization with the HuntLeague app, I was just totally blown away. I was oh my gosh, what an incredible way that this platform gets to serve, different, the different uses. That's what's been really fascinating even. And I haven't been vocal at all since the, February 1st, haven't sent emails out, haven't sent anything about how we've made changes with our leagues, but just the amount of people that have communicated back. We have churches that are saying we're going to create a league to reach people in our own church community, or people that are isolated in our city, that they might be hunters, but they're just, they're not really connected. And people are seeing a need there. We've got, different shops and, from taxidermy places to meat processing to local bow shops, archery clubs. All these different things are realizing oh my gosh, we could create a league for this, for our tribe and for our people. And it's man, seeing people start to capture a vision for how they can use, create leagues. And we got to experience something still in it's, I would say it's late beta season, there's not a million users competing for the Outdoorsman of the Year right now, but somehow this group of people stumbled upon the app and found it and used it this year. And we were able to really test it and build something special. And I believe we're laying the foundation, for years to come of how this community is going to be built, what it's the fundamental values of the community, that it's not just, it's not just about an ego thing. It's not another just Instagram place where you're going to just post, your highlights and your big, huge animals. It's no, there's a real community here of hunters that, it's this is, when I just think about the future of what's happening here, I just get so excited.
What I was excited about was to show people how much I go into the woods and don't bring something home. People see the success photos, right? And you're well, oh yeah, of course you got it done. Yeah, I didn't see a freaking branch buck in 15 trips, over 15 trips probably, nothing. And it just if people can go back, and I didn't log every hunt, so it's maybe closer to 12 on the app, but people can go back and see my success rate versus how many times I went, and it's really low. really low. And it's like, man, I hunt harder than you do for the most part. Like these people that are asking these questions, like how do you kill stuff? Well, I hunt harder than you. I hunt more often. I spend more time in the woods. You can log your scouts. You've probably logged more hunts already to Crayson this year than anybody. And I've been logging scouts here and there, but it's like, it's just, you can kind of see the guys that are doing more on the app. It just seems like they have more success for a number of reasons, obviously, but it just, I don't know. I think it would be cool for people that want to know what the Outdoorsman of the Year did. What did your season end up stacking into? What did you piece together for a season?
Well, I figured out after using the app that I hunt more than like 200 days a year. Like I am,
oh my God,
I am out there. Like,
yeah,
because I did over 100 between the end of like basically August to December.
Yeah.
So, and I hunted a ton in January, February, March, April, May. I mean, all of that, even June and July. So I hunt so much, and it's like, oh geez, I might have a problem here. But like going back to what you were saying there, like how much you don't see anything, or you don't, like, I went back to how much I missed at my waterfowl hunting. And it's like, maybe I should start looking down the barrel a little bit more, because I'm only getting, my statistics, my hit percentage is not very high, but I'm getting, 4 or 5 mallards, every time I go out. So, but, and then with the ammo being shortage, it's just like, yeah, I probably should start, getting a little bit more down the barrel here. But, no, I have learned, looking back at it now, it's just like, I went out probably more than anybody did. And that is, every day you go out, you learn something new, whether it's you didn't do the right thing, you didn't pick the right path, or you didn't set up in the right spot, or you just didn't scout. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, my dad will go hunting on the other side of the valley, and I'll go hunting over here. And as soon as I get done and he's done, I'll call him and say, what did you learn? Like, where are the elk at? He's like, well, they're not here. It's like, okay,
right.
Well, this is where I would suggest to go next. Or, okay, they're there. Okay, well, let's go hunt that tomorrow or whatever after work. So it's just learning something every time you go out. And I feel so bad for the people that live so far out of like a drive distance to hunt. Mm-hmm. Or they have to pick a certain week. Like I can't relate. I've never lived that way. And I'm sorry that's the way you have to hunt. But for me, being successful, it's time out in the field, and, having family that just, supports that through everything it's just dynamite. I mean, that's how you learn the animal. That's how you learn to speak to them, and figure it out. But
yeah. And you've had a lot of success because you've grown up in one of the best spots in Oregon to grow up in for elk hunting.
Absolutely.
So you've had quite a bit. How many bulls have you killed over there?
I've killed, I think it's 9 or 10 out of the 15 years.
That's crazy. That's good.
Yeah.
So last year you pieced together a really nice bull. In the YouTube video, that's
Huge
pretty
bull.
cool. The probably the most interesting part of that YouTube video is when that bull's walking up on you as you found your bull. I'm like, how often does that happen? You have another
no kidding
giant bull, a stud bull walking up in you as you're standing over yours. I'm like, that's pretty freaking sweet.
Oh,
but
man.
You had a lot of smaller critters too outside of that big bull.
Yeah, no, for sure. The coyotes, I pursue them so hard. But I'm trying to think of anything else. I had some close calls with turkeys. I usually do a lot more ground squirrel hunting just to help ranchers out and farmers out, that they just create havoc out there. So, I mean, I could have been logging that, but I didn't do much of that this last year. But definitely the coyotes, just that's been my itch to do from January to December. So you hunted deer, but you didn't get a deer this year, right? Oh yeah, no, this is probably honestly my best year for deer. I just didn't harvest one. I had a couple shots, and I missed low on one buck, and I was chasing this giant. And I've never targeted a buck or anything like that, but I did pass up one buck this year because I was waiting for this giant 9-point, just a giant whitetail. And we don't get whitetails over here, and they actually started to die off again because of blue tongue disease. But bummer. Yeah, no, we had I think I found within the archery season, I found 7 or 8 does in like 2 weeks. Just
Really?
completely bloated up in like terrible. Yeah, just dead. Nothing was eating them. Nothing was wanting to touch them. Couldn't figure out why. And yeah, it's just that whole disease came in. But no, I had a lot of a lot of action with the bucks this year. Just never seemed to make contact.
Now, did you have a spring bear and fall bear tag at all? Did you?
Nope, just the fall bear. No, I haven't pursued spring bear till really. I put in last year, but I didn't get it. And then this year, I think I'm supposed to draw, or maybe it'll be next year. But I've never spent much time, just because it just seems like it's a lot of hassle to get up there when there's a lot of snow still.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, you're also hunting over in the northeast part of Oregon, right? That's where you live,
right? In the LeGrand area. That's the main,
which is
yeah.
where I travel to when I can draw a tag. But
right.
But yeah, for bears, you gotta, if you want to kill one, just come over here.
I know. I'm gonna
tell everybody that though. Like,
it's on my hit list. This is the it's the only thing I haven't killed. It's general, basically.
So what are your plans for this year then?
Oh man, I got my brother-in-law. He's stepping up to really film, and we already did a couple. He's already got 2 coyotes that I've shot on camera, and it's just been like,
yep, I saw that video.
He's so passionate and right there. And that's the main thing, to have a hunting partner that is just as passionate about the chasing anything as you are. Cause it just won't work out if it's like, he can only go 5 times a year, or like maybe once a month. Like he has really stepped up and just had a passion for this and made time to help support me. And he's all for being a cameraman. And I appreciate it. He hasn't even killed his first coyote, and I've taken him out a couple times to try to get it done, but hasn't happened. But no.
Now, did you shoot that video on your new camera too?
Yeah. So we're still playing with that, trying to keep manual and get that all figured out. But the Sony FDR AX700 is what we're running, and it's a giant sensor on the front, and it's looking like it's going to be a great camera. He's actually done some photography before, not much, but he's already like, wow, like I'm glad you're running that thing, because I just have to worry about taking the shot. So
yeah, so it's not like a DSLR. That's a camcorder.
Yeah, that's style? A camcorder. So I do a lot of self filming, and the DSLR does not work for that type of hunting. But he has, after I bought the camcorder, he stepped on to do that, and it's a great camera. It's working out.
Yeah, because the footage, I just noticed, like from your bull footage over to your coyote footage, and the editing skills, like you're getting better, but you're getting better at a very fast clip.
No, I think I spent about $4,000 on just new equipment, and that's basically just a new MacBook. I mean, I was running everything off my iPhone 8. Editing. That's
crazy.
It took forever to get any footage on that thing, and then run it on a really, chintzy program.
So your bull video from last year, you edited that on your iPhone?
All on my iPhone. Like, I think it's called Premiere Rush or something like that, or Adobe Rush, or that's what I edited that on. And man, when I was just editing it, I was like, this is the best video ever. And then like a month later, I'm like, oh, the audio is so bad. Oh no, like just like, I need to upgrade some stuff, and I got it going.
Okay, so
I'm excited.
we got off on equipment, but Garrett, your question was what's on the agenda for this year?
Yeah.
So give us some of your, what do you got planned, Crayson?
Well, this is the year that we have to try to draw for tags, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with the archery general. I'm hoping to get my elk and deer tag still, and hoping to really, get another bull on camera like that. Probably, I don't know if I'll kill one as big, but if it's a 6-point, I'm taking it, and it doesn't. That's usually my thing. I'll wait until like the last 2 weeks for a 6-point. But bucks, any bucks around here, I take. I mean, we love the venison, and so
you and I couldn't be more opposite.
I know. It's just like, dude,
I'll pass up a buck all day long.
Yeah, there's a fork horn. Let's go stock. Let's go.
Oh my gosh! No, you're killing me. You're like, 6-point in the last 2 weeks. I'm like, I'll shoot the first freaking legal bull I see.
Yeah. No, if there's a 4-point,
it's the other side of the freeway. So
that's funny, huh? Well, quick tip is depending on what you need, and I'm guessing I know is the ODF&W is allotting enough tags for people that report they hunt the units. They're not trying to limit the number of hunters per se. They're trying to isolate you into a unit. So you can probably draw the unit you're thinking of second choice.
Okay.
So I wouldn't blow your points on it.
I hardly.
And if you don't draw, you can kick me in the nuts. But
yeah,
yeah. So I would anticipate, because that's straight out of the ODF&W's mouth.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, that'd be
That's
good.
really cool to hear.
So I plan on doing some turkey hunting here. I'm trying to get my cameraman his first turkey. He's got a new bow. He's going to try to whack one with a bow, and I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of mentoring, helping family out, helping kids down the street out, and hopefully going to get some tags filled. And I'm just really pursuing the coyotes heavy right now. I mean, I'm almost going every other day after work, whether it's a stand or two. I've spent hours of onXing, and completely like going door to door to try to get permission for new places to hunt and call. So.
Didn't you hunt pheasants and stuff too?
Oh yeah. No, I gotta save a couple weeks and yeah. So pheasants is, we have it's just another place I've gone up to the door and they said, sure. And
that's crazy.
Man, you can jump like, a good handful of roosters in a day.
Really?
As long as you're shot on. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Around here, if you see a rooster or a pheasant, period, you take a picture of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't even shoot it. I don't know if you could shoot it.
No, they're
it's a rare species.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but
we got enough of them
you
over
just
here.
Run them over with your car. There's too many of them over here.
Yeah. No, we got them in our yard. The turkeys are just terrible.
Exactly. Yeah.
So mad. And our dogs will eat the crap and then puke up in the house. It's like, we really got to handle this, neighbors. Let's come together. So.
That's funny.
Yeah. So as I got a question for you, Jared, as a prize package, not that I'm sure Crayson's already memorized everything, but what did Crayson win?
Yeah. Come on.
Oh my goodness. Well, so we're still, the hardest part about the prize package stuff is actually like the timing. Right when we do these competitions at the end of the year, these companies are in like full blown, like
let's
they're
partner
doing
up mode.
It's well, it's SHOT Show, it's Hunt Expo, it's they're up in Portland right now, so they're up in Oregon right now at the I don't remember,
Portland Sportsman Show is what they call it.
Yeah, and I mean, but those same shows they're happening in Pennsylvania. Like I was assuming, we were talking to Vortex last week, and I was like, hey, let's sort out Crayson's prize, and I was like, oh, they're out of the office. So I was like, oh, are you in Utah at the Western Hunt Expo? And it's like, actually, no, we're at this thing in Dallas and then at another thing in Phoenix. And I'm like, I didn't even know those things were happening, and it's just
Jesus.
The amount of shows and the amount of stuff like that is just overwhelming. So some of this is still yet to be determined. And what's been interesting, and like we had judges this year represented from the different companies. Just yesterday, I got a packing list of the different things that, like, Phoenix Flashlights, for instance, is getting ready to ship. And the commitment that they made was they were going to send this like 18,000 lumen. I mean, it's like a $450, $500 like flashlight to the winner. And then to second place, they were going to send this really nice, I don't, PD 36, some kind of flashlight. It's a $150 flashlight, rechargeable battery, 1600 lumen. Like, it's a fantastic light. And that was going to be for second place, but that was all that was listed for the Outdoorsman of the Year. Well, I see their packing list, and because I said, hey, here's what we're sending. They sent one of those $150 lights to every person, every finalist, including Crayson, who is already getting the fancy light. And they sent it to Casey Holmgren, who was like the lioness, the top female from this. So it was like, just in a day where it was like, I didn't even expect that. I was like, there was $150 prize value for this light. And then they just included 5 more of those. And it was like, wait, that just jumped up like $750, like the value of this league. And then, Velvet Antler Technologies was like, hey, we're going to do a prize package for all the finalists. And that came the night of the award ceremony. But like me and AJ have been like playing phone tag because he's been at all the shows. They're still a small company, like relatively small, like in terms of like employees. Like they're lean and mean and growing like crazy. But it's like they're running the shows. They're building the booths and packing this, dealing with inventory, just trying to keep their head above water. And so it's like, yeah, I think that package will probably ship to you guys in the next 2 to 3 weeks, but it's like, and I don't even know what that's even going to be. Vortex the night of was like, hey, we're going to include a prize for all the finalists. It was just slated to just the Outdoorsman of the Year was going to win. They included 3 of those Spark Solar. Those are $400 sites. And all of that stuff has happened. And it's like, oh my gosh. And to be honest, like I can't even tell you the number of companies that I've connected with in the last month that are like, we want to be a part of this. Like we're super excited about what you're doing and what you're building. And it's everything from, I mean, it's literally everything in the outdoor space, from meat processing and food stuff to boots to the guy, Wolfgang Troxel, that was a finalist last year. He was saying he's like, man, I want to build a league just for Oregon. And there's a company in Oregon that makes camouflage. And he connected with the owner of that. And I haven't connected with him yet, but he's like, he wants to talk to you because I think he wants to do an Oregon league, representing and there's just so many things like stirring. And like the last I checked, the prize package was valued at over $8,700 for the league. Yeah. And I think once we have all the final stuff in there, like we could be pushing $10,000 prize package.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
And as small as the app is, your chances of winning are the best chances you're going to get on the internet. Like,
get in now if you're listening.
Get in now.
Yeah, this is far from an Instagram giveaway. It's like,
yes.
And if you saw it on Instagram, or like, I don't know about this HuntLeague thing, it's like you blew it. Like you should have got on there last year.
Really messed up. Yeah, I did everybody a favor listening on my podcast, and Crayson's the only one that followed through on it.
And I was mentioning earlier, I met with an attorney earlier today, and I was talking about your season, Garrett, and I was like, okay, let's just listen to this. I was like, and you said like by the stats, I was like, man, I don't actually even kill all that much for the number of days that I spend out hunting. And it's just, I work harder. And it's like, yeah, your stats though, like you look at Josiah, he spent 70 days trying to kill a good buck and didn't get one. It's like his stats are not anywhere close to, like, you finished out, I don't know how many hunts you totaled, but let's just say 35 or so for that you logged last year. But it's like, you were able to successfully harvest 5 big game animals in that like 35-ish days of hunting, and I'm like, that statistics, those are pretty dang good in my books. Like, I mean, that's better than anybody else. I think that's probably the highest percent, day to day.
Maybe I should quit complaining.
Just about anybody. Yeah.
I'll take the hint.
Yeah. But I was talking to that attorney friend, and he goes, and I was just saying, I was like, if somebody puts together that kind of season and doesn't win this year, I mean, what on earth do they have to do? Like, what does a man have to do to win this if they can't win it with that? And so we were just kind of laughing about that today, but it's like, yeah, I mean, this is you put together an unbelievable season. And again, like that was just August to the end of the year. Right. So Garrett, let's flip to you for a second, because I know you and I are both kind of drilling in on Crayson. What are your plans for this year? Like, I don't know that I know we've talked a little bit about it, but what do you got coming?
Well, I've got a potential really good deer tag in Oregon I can draw. If I don't draw that, I'll be a general season mafia like all the other guys out there. Sure. And then elk is going to be probably general season because it'll take me another 6 years to draw the tag I want. And that's in Oregon. And then spring bear, if I don't draw a tag, I'm going to freaking drive to the ODF&W office, dude, and just, so they ruined our draw in Oregon a couple years ago. Like, we weren't even a draw. It was first come, first serve. And now it's like, I had like a handful of buddies that didn't draw last year, and it should not be that way. And so I'm nervous I'm not going to draw. Like, I don't want to speak it into existence, but it's in like the front of my head every day. So, but spring bear I have planned. I'll find out when. Crayson, when did you say we were going to find out?
It should be the 20th by the February here. So like, I don't know, 8
Next
days,
week. Yeah.
4 days, 4
Yeah.
days from now.
Yeah. So we'll find out if I drew that, or Crayson will too. But I'll do fall bear for sure. Maybe I don't know. Invite you over, have you over for a bear hunt. I still haven't heard that yet or not, but and then I have Arizona on the list, late season Arizona in January. If they don't change that. And I didn't buy the tag in Idaho that I had last year, mainly because I'm gonna just try and get a harder to get tag, and if I don't draw, I don't draw. But I kind of passed on Idaho this year. And I really want to try and do maybe a California July blacktail hunt.
Oh, yeah. Do one of their, I don't know if they call it the A season or whatever it's called.
Like the A zone or whatever. I got a lot to learn, but I got a couple buddies like Guy who live there. And they'd probably be willing to teach me up a little bit about what to get. But I'd like to try and knock off another state. My goal is to bow hunt and kill an animal with my bow in every state and then every country. And then so I'm trying to knock off 1 or 2 states a year. So Arizona is going to be one of those states, maybe Montana.
Now, when you say country, do you mean continent or do you mean country?
Continent. Excuse me, continent.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't have that much money.
That's a lot of money and a lot of years.
I don't have that many years. I don't have that many money. So, but
okay.
So yeah, I'm trying to knock off 1 or 2 states a year at this point, and I've got Africa under my belt, obviously, because I was there a couple of years ago. But, yeah, I mean. Really, I'm really excited about this deer tag I could draw in Oregon with a bow. I'm really excited about that tag.
Now you've done, I mean, I know you did Wyoming. I know you did Idaho last year. I know you've done a couple other states.
Yeah.
Crayson, you're like a home guy. Like you were talking earlier, like I feel bad for people that have to drive 2 to 3 hours to go to, that's me. Like anywhere that I go for like big game hunting and stuff, it's an effort. Like I'm driving 4-7 hours, like, I mean, it's a haul.
Yeah.
And it's even as though it's in my own state, but it's just the units that I'm going to, are typically on the western side of the state. And it's a long drive. But have you done any out of state hunting? Have you done much travel for hunting?
A little bit just for coyotes, but nothing big game. I mean, I've done Nevada because you don't have to have a hunting license there.
Really?
And yeah, so for coyotes and stuff. So I've done a little bit of that, and I have killed a coyote in over there because that's near where my wife's grandma lives. But besides that, I mean, I really haven't done any out of state hunting, and I haven't even adventured very far out of 6 hours of here for anything like big game. So
yeah.
All right, here's an enticing offer for you, Crayson. There's a few states that still offer like a bounty on coyotes. I don't know if you knew that, but like if you've ever looked into Utah offers a bounty, like it's up to like $50
really
for a head for a coyote. Because I mean they've had kind of plummeting ungulate populations, like they've had some issues, and there's certain pockets of the state too where they really would like to get the coyote population under control. And like I've kind of asked Holly before, and I'm like, babe, I'm going to plan a trip with the boys, and we're going to do a deal where like we're going to budget, I don't know, $500 to do this trip. Just food, travel, the whole deal to get over there. But I was like, but we're not coming back until we've made up our money on the bounty. So
let's do it. Yeah, let's make money on this trip.
It's a group where it's like we're staying there until it's going to take us 10 coyotes to get before we're allowed to come home.
That's awesome.
Yes, let's do it.
So Crayson, you and your predator hunting skills, like you may have to plan a trip like that someday.
That'd be so fun. That'd be fun. Do it.
Okay, so Garrett, you have Arizona was kind of your exotic thing. Are you looking at Montana? You said California, I guess, maybe on the docket for July.
Well, I've already hunted California, so it's on a low priority, and I've already killed a hog in there, so it's not technically a big game animal, but honestly, it's wide open right now. I mean, it could be Wyoming again. I had a great time in Wyoming after I got that private property access, so it's like, man, kind of want to go back there and do it with a bow, do it right, like. I could have done it this year with a bow, and I didn't freaking bring my bow, and I knew I was going to regret it. So It's still up in the air, and it really does depend on what I draw in Oregon. Because if I draw that deer tag, it's really tough to leave rosies when they're bugling to go kill a deer. But it's a good tag, so I don't really want to commit to anything too much. But I'm really counting on. I have like a 5% chance of drawing these tags I'm trying to get in Idaho. So I can't really count on those, But it's Arizona's my non-negotiable, and that is where I'm going next year, 100% for sure, unless they change the laws and they don't allow me to.
Well, here's kind of what's been happening. It's been a little bit crazy. I've never experienced so many invitations to go hunt. Josiah wants me to come hunt spring turkey with him in Wisconsin. A guy, Brian Strickland, right? He was a judge in the 2020. He writes for Bear Hunting Magazine. He called me at first about, hey, what would you think about going to Alaska? And we could do a spring bear hunt in Alaska. And Alaska is a special place. If you haven't been there, I mean, it's like one of those bucket list places, and it's on my list. Keith Naylor and his buddy Timothy Reeser, they kind of had me like hooked with the caribou hunt in Alaska. So that's been like high on my list, where I would say like maybe even above anything else. Like that would be maybe my like, my dream one would be like, that one has my imagination rolling. But I got an invite from Andrew with Crude Outdoors, like, hey, do you want to look at Montana this year? I've had Arizona on my mind the last 3 seasons, and I was disappointed, to miss it this January. So that's been, like you said, that's a for sure next year.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at that. And obviously, there might be some rules where they may limit some of the units, or, we'll have to kind of see how that plays out. But the bear hunting thing has been a reoccurring thing, like the relationship that's beginning to develop with Bear Hunting Magazine.
Yeah.
I got an invite to go do spring bear in Montana, and I've never done spring bear. This past year was actually like my first time to ever have a bear tag. And it was really like, I wasn't really bear hunting. I was hoping to get an elk or deer and then, sit the gut pile kind of a deal and hope for a bear. But that never, that I didn't harvest anything until the last day of the season. So I never had that opportunity. But I think this year, I got an invite to go to at least apply for New Mexico for non-residents. It's not a preference point state, but they designate like a small number of tags for non-resident.
That state, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's expensive because you put the money in up front and then you kind of get refunded. And, so that was a strong consideration though, because it is not very far for me to drive. And some of the better units are actually just 3 or 4 hours from me, which is somewhat closer than even the places I hunt in Colorado.
Yeah.
But I think, elk is my favorite species to hunt. But I think this year, I was thinking like, I'm going to do Montana elk during archery, and then and do deer archery in Colorado. And then my son is 13 and I want to take him on his first big game hunt. So and he wants to hunt a deer. He doesn't want to hunt elk, but I was like, well, maybe I'll find him a deer, a unit where I can get an over the counter elk tag. So my thought was like, maybe I've never done a rifle elk hunt. Like I just have never done it. I've only done archery. And so I was like, maybe this year I'll do my bow hunt in Montana for elk. And then I'll do it's been totally like, this is the time of year where you're having to make all these decisions.
Right.
But I think I'm going to scale stuff back just because, I've got so many things, so many irons in the fire right now. And I'm like, I think this is going to be the year of the bear for me. I think I'm going to I'm leaning towards a Montana spring bear hunt. I have an aunt that actually lives in Alaska in Wasilla. So I could go to Alaska and do bear hunting there, but I think I'm leaning towards a Montana bear hunt. And then in the spring, a fall bear hunt in Oregon, doing an over the counter one, do that in August and take my younger son on that hunt with me. Then I'm going to apply for a unit here in Colorado that is last year was no points, but I'm going to apply with an out-of-state buddy and it was a 50% chance for in-state resident to draw and like an 18% chance for non-resident. So I'm going to apply for a unit in Colorado that more than likely I won't draw. So I think my archery season this year will be an over the counter. If I just had to kind of,
that'd be cool.
The odds or statistics of that is going to be an over the counter. So that's most likely what I'm going to spend and I think that'll take me through the year, unless I might go back home and do like an Oklahoma whitetail or something unexpected. But I think it's going to be the year of the bear. All my travel will be bear oriented, which is like, I've never done that before. It's kind of a new adventure. And it's never even been at the top of my list, but I just think that's the way that it's going to play out. I think I'm going to prioritize doing bear hunts, doing one for myself, kind of a deal in Montana, and then doing one for my son in Oregon, and then kind of play the rest of the season pretty low key with the expectation of starting 2023, fingers crossed, in Arizona.
Yeah. Well, listening to you talk, I forgot I got invited from a good friend of mine to go spring bear hunt in Idaho in late May, and I'm just I gave him the confirmation I'm 100% go. I just have to wait for him to tell me on his end if he's 100%. So, but that's baiting bears over there. You can bait bears.
Yeah, you can bait there.
So,
and I've never done that, but I think that would be actually a pretty cool experience. And your bear season for spring is up in the air. So if you end up not drawing, like that might be something we connect on and figure out,
Yeah, he said he's got baits already, the bait sites, they're under snow right now, obviously, but there's like an 85% chance I draw in Oregon for spring bear, and it's a general over the counter in Idaho, so it's like guaranteed if I want to go over there, I can go over there. And I want to film, and I've never shot a bear with my bow, and I'm trying like hell this year to do it on the Oregon coast. I have my whole new strategy and everything.
Yeah.
And and so we're going to be working a new strategy there, but it's just interesting. It's kind of funny. I'm targeting bears more than I ever have, potentially this year more than ever. So I'm kind of in the same boat, but I'm not traveling across the nation to go kill them though, or to Alaska.
Yeah. Have you hunted Alaska? I don't remember if you've shared that.
No. It's me and my dad are planning a trip in the next couple of years to go caribou hunting, which even if you plan a trip, most guides are booked, at least a year or two out. So it's like, if you book now, you're probably looking at 2024 to go kill them.
Yeah. Peter Mosby and Keith Naylor, both in the app, have done kind of the DIY caribou hunts, and they've been successful at it. And that's been tempting. That's the one that I was saying is kind of messes with my imagination, because Alaska, like once you've been there, it's just like, it's unlike any other place you've ever been. Like just walking on the ground in the tundra there is like, I've never stepped foot on earth that feels this way. Like, it's just so, the colors, the greens, and the landscape. It's just like, I've never seen these colors in nature before. Like it's like I've been to beautiful mountains everywhere from, Washington to Oregon, California, Colorado, I've seen the deserts of Utah, New Mexico. Alaska is just, it's undescribable. I can't even begin to put it into words. When I think back of some of my experiences there, I'm just like, there's a part of me that it almost is like a fantasy where I don't want to return there and mess with the memories I have of it, because it was so magical, but then that's other side of you just craves it. It's like, I've got to go back there because it's magical. It's unlike any other place I've ever been.
Yeah. I have not been there, and I am dying to go. And it's just like, I already told Kim, I'm like, if we had to move, it'd be Alaska, Wyoming, or Idaho. I don't care which one, you can choose. And she actually chose Alaska out of all three of those, And she's got family up there too. So
yeah,
I don't know. Alaska might be the move, man. I don't know. Crayson lives in paradise already, so I don't have to worry about him.
That's true, man. That's true. You do live in a special spot, Crayson.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Well, I unless there's anything on your end here, Jared, I think I got most of what I wanted to get out from Crayson and talking to you guys. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap this thing up?
Man, that's a great question. I mean, I know I could not congratulate both of you guys enough. I think Crayson, obviously you took the title last year with the Outdoorsman of the Year. That well done on that. Garrett, we're days away from kind of announcing the Western Hunter. And I mean, kind of coming out of the Outdoorsman of the Year, it's like, well, if it's not Crayson, it's going to be Garrett. If it's not Garrett, it's going to be Crayson. And so I'd still kind of, again, it's just speculation because I'm not the judge, but like I would pretty much say like, yeah, I think we'll be at that decision in the next couple of days, and that's going to be really exciting to see. And so, I mean, thank you guys for just participating, being a part of the community, like the friendships that I feel like we've had. I mean, the discussions that we have on our phones outside of just hunting, talking through life and marriage. I mean, it's been a true blessing just to get to know you guys. And I can't believe the way that like the HuntLeague app has brought you guys into my life. So just from me to you guys, like I'm grateful for both of you. Thanks for believing in the app, for participating, for becoming legends in our small growing community. And I mean, because you're kind of in and you've set yourself up this way. Like, I mean, I think, you've got people that are going to be looking at your seasons really close this year, regardless of where the leaderboard or how you compete in leagues, like you guys have become people where like everybody wants to see what you do. So even just talking through the plans of, hey, what we're thinking about is going to get people excited because now they're going to get to see the day-to-day play-by-play, of what actually occurs here. And for some of you guys, that's just spring bears right around the corner. So we're going to get to see some of that stuff unfold pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know Crayson can't compete again. He's going to be a judge next year, I'm guessing, right?
That's correct.
I don't know if I am or am not, but just so I can shit talk everybody listening here, I made the finals with 4 months. I have a whole year this time, so be very scared, guys.
Be very, very
You've been warned, but seriously, it's Oregon 1-2. Me and Grayson were saying that a while ago. I was like, we're just hoping for an Oregon 1-2.
It's actually like a 1-2-3 because you got to throw Casey in there with the Lioness.
That's true. That's true.
She didn't get to participate in the live event, but there was she was the clear winner for the females. It was just like Casey won, and she was invited as a candidate. She just wasn't selected as one of the top 4. I can't wait to actually see when we have a female kind of break in. But I'm not the guy that wants to just do like, we're going to have a token female jump in. Right. It's like, no, like I want everybody to have a fair shot at this and earn your way in. And, and I absolutely believe in the next couple of years, we're going to see some females break into that, and that's going to be exciting. I mean, you and I have talked, Garrett, like about Evan. It was
I told him he was over at my house last night for a podcast, and he gave a speech to our local chapter for the hunting organization. And I'm like, if you would have competed, you probably would have won.
I think he would have. And I'm like, his only issue is he's an Android guy. Yeah. He's in the app, and I actually helped him log a few things, but I'm like, Crayson, count your blessings, because Evan was just sitting on the sidelines waiting. And it's like, he's just can't wait for Android to come out. So hopefully we'll have Android ready to go before like the fall hunts. It definitely will not be ready by spring hunts, but
that's funny. You're going to bring him up, because I was like, if one of my buddies participates, Evan, he's going to own the room, dude. Cause he's so inspirational. I mean, his stories it's just phenomenal. So if he puts together a good season this year, I think he can, if we can come up with a Droid app part of it, I think he's one to watch out for. He's definitely one to follow. And there'll be a podcast of him coming out probably either tonight or tomorrow. So be pretty cool.
Oh, that's very cool. Well, gentlemen, it's always a pleasure getting to spend time with you. Thanks for jumping in. I know this is like a dual podcast and an On Point and a HuntLeague podcast rolling at the same time. That's my first of this kind of podcast. So
right on.
There's a lot of firsts happening with HuntLeague. So Garrett, thanks for helping initiate me into that. It's always a pleasure participating with you. And man, I am unbelievably excited about some of the announcements and some of the things that we've got coming for 2022. You know, if anybody is still listening at the hour mark of our podcast, you know, like this is when, I mean, it's like, now's the time to jump into HuntLeague, you know, start logging your stories. You know, so we had some people that kind of downloaded it and dabbled with it last year, but I think once you break the ice of actually learning how to like log a hunt and kind of journal it, then it becomes second nature and it's a lot easier in the field. And it's going to be something that you're going to want to have. I mean, years down the road, and even just, you know, the next day, to be able to share those experiences with friends, like the ability that it has to kind of connect and share and mentor. And I mean, there's just so many layers to it. And I'm really, really, really excited about some of the announcements that we've got. I mean, we're going to be announcing some stuff, you know, you and I, Garrett, here next month.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people stacking up that are also really excited about that.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Yes.
So there's some cool stuff in the queue that are like, we can't reveal those secrets right now, but I would say, hey, be tuned in about a month from now. Cause there's going to be some really cool stuff that we're going to reveal. So Crayson, you're going to dig it too.
100%. Yeah.
Can't wait.
But all right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you both for taking the time to come on here tonight. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking, all three of us, here very soon again.